Before I get started on the video, I'd like to ask you guys to go ahead and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button and hit the notification checkbox. That way you guys don't miss any future uploads from me and you become part of the notification squad. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. What's up, people? YouTube, this is Roller bringing you guys another video to my channel. I'm going to test something out. I'm using just my camera audio, but it's coming through my Yeti. Typically I use two different audio softwares. I use this and then I use my Audacity. I sync them up and then I upload them, but I've been having issues getting the audio to sync up with what I'm saying, so I'm going to do it this way and hopefully it works out. So this is just going to be audio coming from my Yeti through my webcam recording software. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad, but that's what we're doing for this video. So this video is going to be talking about the Blackout Beta for Black Ops 4. Obviously this is new. The beta went live yesterday. It went live on the 10th. We don't have it for very long, which is kind of disappointing. I was hoping that we would have it for the remainder of the month leading into Black Ops 4. But I'm going to talk about my first impressions and my opinion of the beta so far. Things that I think need improvement and where they should go from here. So the first thing that I want to kind of talk about is I do love the map. I love the world and the way that the locations that they've put in there from previous Black Ops games. They kind of sort of mesh together, and I think that works really, really well, and I'm happy that they did it that way. I love landing at like a Ray, or I haven't been to firing range too much, but Raid, those areas are super, super nice, and I'm very happy that they put them in the game the way that they have. Nuketown Island is really, really cool. I'm very happy about that. I love the whole underground tunnel system and all that, so it's super nice. We're going to go through the positives first here. So second, I would like to say that the zombies are a good addition. I think that they feel right. I don't feel like it's annoying or overwhelming or anything like that. I think it's a nice little threat to have in a battle royale world. I think it looks pretty good. It works with Call of Duty because it's, you know, zombies are pretty much Call of Duty's thing now. I mean, it is 1-in-1 with multiplayer. Zombies is right there. Let's talk about the weapons. The weapons are pretty good. I like what they've done so far with the guns. I think they need to work on adding some variety, I guess, in a way. I mean, the assault rifles and the SMGs seem to be okay, but everything else is pretty weak sauce right now, and that's probably just because it's a beta, so I'm not expecting a whole lot in regards to that. For the most part, for me, I'm running on a PS4 Pro, but for me, the game is buttery smooth. I haven't experienced any frame rate drops. I haven't experienced anything along those lines. I know some people have. My friend Corey, he experienced some when we were playing last night. So that's good, I guess, for the most part. He also has a PS4 Pro, but I haven't experienced really any frame rate issues at all. I mean, I can tell it's not quite 60, but it's pretty close. It's somewhere in the 50 area, which is okay with me, because if the game runs like it does now, and it comes out and it's around that frame rate, if they can get it to stay there and not drop for people, I'm fine with it. Next up, let's talk about some of the negatives. Keep in mind, some of these negatives aren't like big, huge, awful things. It's just things that need worked on because it's a beta. The first thing is the wingsuits and the parachute. Something about Fortnite, they make their dropping into the map super, super clean, and I really like it. That's something that I think Call of Duty needs to work on for this beta, or not necessarily for the beta, but for the Blackout mode. They need to make sure that the wingsuiting and the parachuting is as fluid and smooth as they possibly can. Right now, it's clunky. It feels like you weigh a lot. It takes a long time to kind of like adjust yourself in the air. It's not very convenient. Wingsuiting isn't horrible, but the parachuting is pretty bad. I mean, it's hard to control where you want to go. If you pull your parachute out, you're going another 20 meters forward maybe, and then you're hitting the ground. So I think they need to be able to control a little bit more of where you want to go once you have your parachute out, as well as being able to angle yourself better with the wingsuit. That's something that needs to be worked on. Obviously, something that a lot of people have pointed out, the graphics are poop, to say the least. The graphics are not the best. I don't hate them because, like, I like Call of Duty looking clean. I like it being crisp. I like it really looking well. But I can understand in a battle royale. Call of Duty's running off of a super old engine, and because of that, you can't expect it to hold 80 plus players, assuming they can actually get to that 100 mark. And have top-notch graphics. So the grass looks bad, the trees look pretty bad, especially if like they're just loading in. It looks worse than Minecraft trees in my opinion. Sometimes like the flowers and stuff that pop up look pretty bad. So those are things that need worked on if they can. If they can't, it's not the end of the world, but it definitely needs worked on. The next thing, this is the big one for me. This is a huge complaint that I have: the armor and the health system. Actually, three big things that need work: armor, health, looting. Those three need tweaked. I think by and large the health, how it is now, is fine. So it's basically how it affects your player once you have armor on. Level 1 armor, perfectly fine in my opinion. Don't have an issue with it. Level 2 armor, that's where it starts to become a problem. I think level 2 armor is too good. I think that level 3 armor is ridiculously good, but you don't find it very often. The gameplay that you're watching in the background, I believe, I don't know if it recorded properly, but the gameplay you're watching in the background, I find a level 3 armor for the first time in the course of roughly 5 to 6 hours of playing the game. So I find my first level 3 armor, and it helped me play through the game, and it's supposed to do that, and it was rare. So level 3 armor needs to be nerfed a little bit in my opinion, because it's absolutely ridiculous, but it's super rare. So I also kind of understand the give and take on that. Level 2 armor, I don't know what they got to do. They got to do something, because they've got to tone it down a decent amount, because it's not hard to find level 2 armor. I can find level 2 armor in pretty much any game that I play. That's not something that's amazing and hard to find. So level 2 armor, please figure something out, or some different kind of system. Next thing, I love the way that they're doing the med packs. This is one of the positives that I forgot to mention. I love the way that they're doing the med packs. I agree with the bandages, doing like the one little bar of health, or the 25% or whatever it is. I'm fine with that. Then I love that med kits, or whatever those are called, they bring you up to full health, but the trauma kits, those bring you up to 200 health. So I'm super happy about the way that they're doing that. I think that works out perfectly. Don't change that at all. Now let's kind of transition into the looting aspect here. Looting is my weak point with this so far. One of the things that I don't really understand what they're doing. Maybe it's just because it's a beta. I'm sure that they're a couple builds ahead of us right now in terms of the game. So they probably have already worked on some of the stuff, and they're giving us a version that they might have been working on a month ago. Who knows? But right now, the looting is kind of annoying, having to scroll through every single thing when you kill somebody, their loot bag, or the little kits that you find. Sometimes you gotta scroll through everything. That needs to be changed, in my opinion. It needs to just, if you're gonna do it this way, it needs to come up in a box. Like, bring up a box with our like D-pad option to scroll through it, not like literally scroll, but like, you know, up, down, left, right, go through all the items, and push a button to pull it over to our inventory. That's all we need. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. I think that would be perfect. Now, the other issue with looting that I have is when you're going to pick up an item and you push square, you have to hold it to pick up an item. You have to look at it, which is sometimes hard to find because some things don't load in right away, especially when you first drop. But when you look at an item, you have to hold square for like a half a second and it picks it up. Not okay with this at all. The Call of Duty needs to be focused on guns up, fast gameplay, period. They've pushed that for years now. That's what they need to stick with. I very much like the fact that you can't sit in one spot the entire game and win. This is a much more tactical game, so you're gonna find, at least in my case, and maybe it's just the way that I like to play, there's a lot of times where you are gonna have to sit in a spot for a little bit of time in the game, you know, let that storm come in, or let some of these people move around and then go forward. But you can't just get inside the circle, post up in a building, sit there and expect to win the game, because it's odds are it's not going to work in your favor. This definitely isn't a game where camping is going to work for you, and I'm happy about that. Now, I understand that this is going to play different than multiplayer, so you are going to have to be more tactical in your decisions, and you might have to post up someplace for a little while and then move and then post up someplace else, especially in like squads and stuff. But you aren't going to be able to just sit in one place. You're not going to be able to throw down some barbed wire or a trip mine and just sit there and hope to win the game, because odds are that storm is going to move away from you. And then if you have not been looting and preparing yourself for that fight at the end, and you haven't gotten the good armor and you haven't gotten tons of med kits, you're probably not going to win. So I'm very happy with their decision to do that, because nothing would be more frustrating than playing the whole game, going through raid, you know, into firing range, and the game finishing over by the construction site, and then I get to the construction site and there's been a dude sitting up at the top of the construction site since the game started who's got 2 magazines, level 1 armor, and 2 bandages with no kills that just happens to shoot me as the game finishes. That's no skill involved in that at all. Some people would say, well, he was playing smart. No, he was playing lazy is what he was doing. He wasn't, that's all he was doing was playing lazy. I'm glad that they're not encouraging that type of gameplay, because I feel like PUBG kind of does encourage that in a way, aside from the fact that obviously there's a storm that moves, so you can't really just chill and do nothing and you have to loot. But yeah, that's a big point in this game for me personally, is I like the way that it feels. It feels like Call of Duty. The gunfights feel like Call of Duty. I like the bullet drop for the most part. I haven't been able to use sniper rifles for anything. I don't know how the bullet drop works on those, but I'll get the hang of it eventually. Let's talk about one gripe that I have with the game, and that is connections. And this was something I was worried about because, oh man, this gameplay that you're watching should be a good example. I don't know if you've seen it at this point in time yet, but in this gameplay, I had connection interrupted for a very long point throughout my game. And it's not my connection. I've played multiple multiplayer games and never have issues like that. It's Call of Duty and how they've been for years. So that's something that needs to be worked on by the time the game comes out. Now, granted, they probably have some dedicated servers just like they have in multiplayer, so the more populated areas, the places that connect to more players, are going to get more dedicated servers. If you're living out in the middle of North Dakota, you're probably not going to get dedicated servers, and issues like this are probably going to happen for you more often. I'm in West Virginia. I'm connecting to servers with people in New York and in Florida and like Georgia, stuff like that. So I'm going to have decently populated servers and areas to connect to, so I will probably have more dedicated servers. But assuming they put dedicated servers in there, if they don't have plans to do that, that's something they need to work on, because it's going to drastically affect the way that the game plays. I don't like that at all. I'm going to talk a little bit about the vehicles, the ups and the downs, the negatives and the positives. I don't honestly have too many negatives. I haven't used the boat or the big truck. The boat seems like a death trap, so I don't really want to use it. I would use it if I had to get from like one side to another, getting away from the storm or whatever, but I wouldn't use it as a main means of traversal because it does feel like a death trap. The big ass truck, it seems like it would be really cool in squads, but it's so loud. People can hear you coming from so far away. And I've had a rocket launcher. If you have a rocket launcher, you're done. If somebody has a rocket launcher, you are absolutely done. You can hear that thing from so far away. I was playing, I could hear a truck. I thought it was like really close to me. I turn around and I see it way off in the distance. So trucks are loud and not a good idea to use unless you're playing squads, in my personal opinion, or even duos. Now, the ATV is fun. I think it's good. It's a good way to get someplace fast. I like the speed on it. I like how it feels, the movement, stuff like that. ATV, in my opinion, is perfectly fine. Leave it how it is. You run the risk of getting shot off of it because you don't really have any protection, but you can also move really fast. So ATV, in my book, I'm okay with that. Helicopter. This is another one that I'm perfectly fine with. You can't go very high in them, which kind of sucks. I feel like you should be able to go higher than you can, but the helicopter it's nice. I feel like there's nothing really wrong with that. It's pretty easy to get killed in them, but I don't think they should be overpowered either because they're not that uncommon. So helicopter, cool with that. ATV, cool with that. They might need to make some small changes to like the boat and the truck, but maybe making them less quiet, or I mean not as loud, more quiet, and making the boat maybe faster, or maybe change what type of boat it is so you have a little more protection. I don't know, but by and large, vehicles are okay with me. Now, that is basically everything that I have to say about the Blackout Beta. It feels nice. It looks okay for the most part. They should work on it a little bit, I think. Frame rate for me, I haven't had too many issues with. Gunplay is pretty good for the most part. They need to work on the armor. They might need to work on health a little bit. Vehicles, I'm fine with for the most part. Might need a little bit of tweaking. They need to work on the looting system. They need to work on the connection issues. So those are the things that I think need to be looked at the most. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about the Blackout Beta down in the comment section below, and deuces.